Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Good to see you. Day 5 of the 5 Days to Personal Power Challenge. I'm Ivan. I'm the founder of Reclaiming the Throne. And I'm really proud of you guys. There's been a hardcore of you men in this challenge that have really gone for it. And I've really stepped it up this week. And when we get Ruben up and running here, he seems to be having some kind of issues getting his camera going. But those of you who haven't had the opportunity to fully engage, that is also perfectly okay. Sometimes timing isn't perfect. There's a lot that you have going on. And I just hope that whatever engagement that you had with this challenge, you had a taste of the opportunity and possibility for you to step it up in your life and to claim your personal power. So I'm going to check in with you, man. How are you doing? Do we have some of you watching live? Have you found some fire this week? Give me some of that in the comments, please, so I have a sense of where you're at. Also, by the way, this is again streaming outside of the group so that we reach more people. And okay, Ruben is good to go here.
There we go, guys. I had a little hiccup with my Wi-Fi here, and StreamYard they weren't congruent. So here I am, guys. Welcome back to day 5. There's the camera. Day 5. And we're going to take you through some juicy stuff tonight, so you can really step into your power and start embodying those qualities while remaining in connection to your heart. Right. Thanks, man. Let's go.
Good. Yeah. So Joris says hell yeah, and I don't know why we can see Joris's name but not. Yeah, I guess Joris is commenting outside of the challenge group. It's a bit of a mystery why some of you are anonymous, but anyway, it is nice to see you guys. Loving this empowerment. I see 3 fire. Can we get some more of those fire, please, so we can get some juice heading into this and to deliver a powerful hour for you guys? It just helps us a lot to know that you're on. Good week. Thanks for direction and focus. I'm glad to hear that. I know that many of you who have been really leaning in this week can't make it for this particular live stream, but of course, it's going to be available after we're done as well. You've been rocking it this week, Ruben. I am fucking proud of you, man. You've delivered the goods. How are you feeling?
Proud, tired, grateful.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm trying to find the live stream in the group, but right now I don't see it yet. So guys, I'll be there in the comments, keeping track of all that fire that you breathe. Oh, there's the replay. Oh wait,
do you see it? No, it's definitely live. I can see it here. Sweet. Oh, it's so good to see you guys leaning in and enjoying this. Lionel has the most fire I've seen in a message in a very long time. Lionel. Hi, Ramon.
Lionel.
Andrew, good to see you. Good to see you as well, Carl. These are the comments that I can see in the group. Yeah. So
I can't find it yet, so I'm still looking.
You keep looking until you find it, because they're certainly there.
Yeah.
I'm even more ready for Reclaiming the Throne 3-month initiation. Somebody says, what? And awesome.
Andrew,
awesome.
Yeah? That was probably Andrew.
That you know him, huh?
Yeah. He's been on fire these couple last days. Yeah. We've been in touch, and he's just, to see him take it to the work and drop in and commit, and to see and feel the shifts and to get that feedback personally, it's amazing. Solid fucking work, Andrew. Yeah, it's inspiring.
I know. I fell out for some reason.
Oh yeah, it was silent.
Yeah,
good. Still refreshing the. There we go. What is that? That's a wicked emoji, Andrew. That's a fucking wicked dragon. Yeah, Jake, good to see you back here. Lionel finally made it through to the last live stream. I've been looking for you this week. Good to have you here today.
It feels like a small band of brothers has formed over this week, Ruben.
Yeah. Peter also did the work. He was there most of the calls, I believe. Peter, let me know if you were there for all the calls. Put it in the comments. Yeah, it's a good small tight group, man. And I believe that with the breath work and the movement and just having that cohesion, doing that together, I feel that without speaking that much, because these guys haven't spoken a lot, I've given them a single minute at the end yesterday to present themselves, and yet
you've been working them hard, eh?
It was strong, man. Yeah, okay, maybe they roared as well, but really spoken. They didn't speak much, but yet at the end there was so much trust. I felt there, so much togetherness. And I feel like that's the movement, the breathing, and just having that cohesion, doing it together. So I'm so grateful to have that experience with you guys.
I think there is something to us men or us humans expressing the raw parts of us that are so often exiled, that are so often repressed and removed from the public conversation, from families, from relationships, because it's taboo. When we have a space to actually bring it out, I think there's just a lot of trust that organically emerges, because we all long for this, right? This actually full embodiment of our humanity. And the way that our culture is developing is that it's less and less embodiment of our humanity. So it's an absolute tragedy how machine-like we're becoming. And so I'm just really happy to know that so many of you have been deeply served and that you've enjoyed this. And also a pleasure, Ruben, to see you rise. So we have an hour together. At the end, we're going to give you the opportunity to keep doing this work with us for 15 more weeks, if you would like that. Before then, we're going to bring you some valuable information, and we're going to bring on some of our friends as well onto the live stream. I don't know, Paul O'Brien was also volunteering to be here today, but at least I know we're going to have Joris. I'm not sure we're going to be able to, if you're watching this, Paul, King Boru from Ireland. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do you in the first half hour that you're available, but I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you're here.
Yeah, thanks guys for the feedback in the comments. Thank you, Ramon. Good to hear you've been able to take to the work.
Yeah. Okay, so you wanted to talk about alchemizing your wounds, Ruben.
Yeah, I think it's core, really. And what is a finishing live stream without highlighting what is possible when we as guys do that? Yeah. Do you have a frame that you want to set, Ivan, or do you want me to share some of my view, some of my perspective?
I'd be happy. Yeah, let's play ball with it. So obviously this is the original process that led to Reclaim Unithrone in the first place. So it's obviously woven deeply into the foundation of the whole training. I was suffering a deep chronic fatigue, and I also had various kinds of griefs in my heart and feeling lonely and being almost knocking on death's door because I was that low. And
you thought you were going to die at one point, yeah?
Yeah, I was just being a drama queen at that point, but
yeah.
but yeah, it's something. There is something peculiar about suffering. It's addictive.
It is. Yeah.
If you're ill or if you're lonely, you're
Yeah. Also with love, man. It's also addictive there. It's it manifests in all kinds of areas. Yeah. Just this sucking, let's just stew in this good old shit. Yeah. That's what it feels like for me. Yeah. If I'm not watchful.
It's an amazing peculiarity about human nature that we do not at all seek to have a better life. It's like it's far down on our list of priorities. Top on the list of priorities is to stay consistent with ourselves. And And so we have the identity. We think we know who we are, and everything is seen through the filter of the narrative, the filter of the story. And if there's suffering and pain and illness and all these things in it, that becomes another obstacle that we need to break through, because actually we're feeding the very suffering that we pretend to want to get out of. And I did that as well. I did that as well. You know, at a certain point, you get fed up with it. And again and again and again, men come and knock on the door for claiming a throne. And then they say, hey, is there anybody home? It's like, yeah, we're fucking home. And they're like,
whoa, okay. Oh, not for me.
Not this time. Not this time. Bye.
Yeah, it's not my time. The universe says this or that. No, guys, it's about that we as humans and as guys want to hold on to the status quo, which is, for us, in terms of belief systems, it's the way that we tell the story of the world around us and how we came to be. And what Ivan mentioned with that's an obstacle to overcome towards wholeness, it means that we need to deconstruct all the unnecessary self-sabotaging belief systems that, like I said before, they're ingrained in us probably quite deeply. Let me close my sound making apps here so I'm concentrated. I keep leaving them open. I'm pretty sure Joris finds this very amusing. Guys, it's about deconstructing what doesn't serve us. So, for example, a question I got from Ramon was, actually, I didn't have time to read the entire thing with my heart, but the core, the first section was, okay, but I actually, like, I have obstacles in working out, and I have these beliefs, then I don't like the gym, and and I've tried some intense yoga. That was the latter part. But what do I do? Is there what can I do to still, to overcome that? And this is actually, Ramon is pointing towards one of those self-sabotaging, conditioned belief systems that simply do not serve us. And maybe there's truth in why it came there. There is always a foundation, and it's probably usually legitimized because you're feeling it, and that makes it legit. But it doesn't mean it's a serving belief or a serving conditioning. Let me take this off. I'm getting warm in here from the rants. Yeah, so I don't have the answer for that. All I know is that it's important to look at the conditionings that you and I and we created that are holding us back. And there's always more, because usually it runs very deep. And that is one of the keys towards getting to the core of who you are, of being able to live from your center of who you know yourself to be, without posturing, without overcompensating, without repressing your sensitive side. Yeah, Ramon, many stories from the past that don't serve. Yeah, I'm also gonna remove my Norwegian woolen socks.
Yeah, why don't you mute and get things organized there?
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. We have a membership inside of Reclaim Unitron called The Forge, and I asked the men here, it's Good Friday after all, and so the symbol is death and rebirth. I asked them, what is it that needs to die in order for you to find new life? And all of them were talking about their inner critic, which I found quite striking. And one of the things that we talk about inside of Reclaim Unitron is that if you don't integrate your inner creature, and you've been working on that this week, it will end up becoming the inner critic that's relentlessly pursuing the inner child. And I asked them if they felt resonance with that, and they were like, fuck yeah, that's me. And so I want you to really take on board that the work that you've been doing this week, that have been taking you out of your comfort zone, you've been leaning into fire, you've been screaming, you've been shouting, whatever you've been doing together with Ruben. I look forward to watching the replays over Easter. You do that in order to embody your power so that it doesn't go internal anymore as the inner critic trying to slay your innocence. Because this is what nice guys end up doing. Sensitive nice guys end up being so self-critical and so hard on themselves that the resentment builds and builds and builds and builds, and in order to let off steam, we start attacking others in passive aggressive manipulative ways. And so we actually create this this entangled mess of just reinforced suffering. It's just suffering all over the place because we aren't actually embodying our power. And so for whatever reason, you have these wounds that have made you sensitive or vulnerable or whatever, maybe anything of this, or maybe not that at all. Maybe you're on the other side of the spectrum. I don't know. But that has to be alchemized. Yeah. And so you need to come to terms with what is it that was shut down along the way. What was exiled? What qualities in you are you terrified of letting out, so that they become internalized and they fester inside of you like a fucking rot on the inside of your heart and veins and soul? You're decomposing and like maggots crawling all over the place, and this burning like fire in the worst kind of way that you feel on the inside, shame and guilt. And it's a terrible feeling, and you probably know it well because you're here.
You put it in the chat, guys. If you recognize it, building layers up of resentment, if you feel like you're self-critical, overly critical, if you're just beating yourself up for not being good enough, that sort of thing, it's all the critic turning in on yourself that's just destroying your vulnerability in your inner child. Put it in the comments below if this is you, if you resonate with this. Some fire, some hearts, some mind blows, whatever feels resonant for you. Put it in there so we can see you. I
would also love to hear what price you've paid in order to hang on to that stuff all the time. Yeah, that's it. It's painful, right? So I'm creaturing up just from the truth resonance inside. yeah.
Oh, I have some delay, it seems. I'm not having that comment yet.
No, I don't know what that is, but maybe sometimes these live technologies are a little bit unpredictable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, heavy critic at work. Yeah, so when you have a strong inner critic, consider that it's because you're not embodying your power, your personal power.
Thanks for sharing, guys.
Yeah. And so the alchemy, I'd say that we're very experienced with this process by now. I think we've taken 13 rounds into the underworld to face their demons and to consciously decompose those painful wounds and all of the strategies around them, so as to discover that there is something at the core of them. There is a latent potential that you have repressed. And it's the pain of repressing that latent potential that has caused you suffering, that has caused you to attack yourself, that has caused you to attack others. And that same suffering runs through your lineage. And we will talk about that later in the call. But rest assured, as we were covering on an earlier call, that the pain that you have received at the hands of your father is connected to him struggling with the very same thing, which may give you empathy. Are we ready to move on to the next one here?
Well, let me just summarize it with the alchemizing your wounds. It may not be entirely clear what I meant with that in the post and what we're talking about right now. So I'll just get it on the nailing edge. What you can do when you alchemize your greatest wounds into your greatest gifts is that you can turn around the suffering that's been haunting you for all your life and give back that healing that you now have experienced, and give it back to the people who are suffering from that same thing, so that you become a force of good, a healing force, that because you have traveled that path where you've been struggling with those wounds, you know how intense it is. You have compassion for these people. You know how urgent it is to heal it. Maybe you've suffered from depression. Maybe you've been from a fatherless family like I have. Maybe you've been in your head and you want to get more in your body. And now you feel like, fuck, this is the work, man. I want to help those guys feel it too. And the more you embody that healing part, the more you're actually going to be able to be a leader who can embody the teachings and really reflect them back to the others who want to learn from you. And people will be fucking grateful that you did. That's the medicine. You're the medicine of the same struggle that you and they have. So remember that, guys. Alchemizing your wounds into your greatest gifts. It can be a key to your purpose. I mean,
yeah,
guys.
it has been for me. I don't think this is the way all men discover their purpose, but
it doesn't have to be. But it's fucking powerful if you do actually turn it around, and if you want to give it back. It's a miracle, guys. And so check in with yourself if that is you. I believe it's
your
the
medicine.
Key. Yeah, it's at least it's your medicine.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's move on here. I think we covered that one adequately. So this is one of the very unique features of the Reclaiming the Throne work: the bridging the warrior and the lover. In principle, the philosophy around this isn't really that new, because of course we all know the polarities of yin and yang, masculine and feminine, penetrative, receptive, and while they may not be exactly the same, they certainly are correlated to the warrior and the lover polarity, where the warrior is very much the penetrating, the sword, the agentic movement into the world, leaning into the world, but also having a boundary, a shield. And then you have the lover that receives, that steps into being, that slows down in order to be an essential embrace of life and the joie de vivre, of being, period. There is no more, being itself. And it's an interesting point of reflection for many nice guys. And listen to this, because this is important. There's a lot of nice guys, sensitive men, that very much identify with this lover side of the spectrum. But so often it is more of a mental affinity, a mental identification with it. And so the capacity to simply receive and to actually ask for help and to be and to enjoy the being is often absent even from the sensitive nice guys. It's a funny thing. But you see, if I don't have a warrior integration in my life, and that is a more mature version of the creature is the instinctual part of your feral, raw, instinctual, beastly side that grows into the mature warrior that stands there erect with sword in hand, ready to slay the enemy of the true and the good. If you don't have that force internalized in your being, shall we say, then the receptive side of you cannot relax. It cannot relax because you don't have a capacity to stand as a fierce no if it is required. And so because exactly, and so because you're like just a sponge absorbing the outside world, how can you relax? The outside world is a mess a lot of the time. Yeah, you can. Okay. Why do so many lover identified people go to tropical islands? It's because there is no sense in the surroundings of this sort of threat coming in. It's a much softer environment. But put that person back into New York or somewhere else, and the sense of being in equanimity and relaxed, it dissipates very quickly because the boundary is absent from the system.
Yeah, you're going to be overwhelmed. Guys, put some more examples in what you believe is the polarity for warrior lover. Maybe it's open and open versus closed. Put it in there, see if you get some insights in this. And to clarify, I want to just highlight what these archetypes are. Some of you guys may not even know what a lover archetype is, or a warrior. Maybe the warrior is more clear. It speaks for itself. But the lover, guys, the lover archetype allows you to merge with nature, with your partner. to be in connection. It's togetherness. There's actually, it's not just togetherness, it's everything is one. So it's mysticism. The lover is really, it's more mystical than the magician. It's actually the transcending function that really allows us to be nourished by the universe or by the feminine. It is really connected to that feminine principle. And so many guys grow up, exactly, fight first, surrender. Many sensitive guys grow up in a feminized environment and they start to inflate in the lover. Inflate means that archetypal energy is actually breaking through their consciousness and takes them over more and more.
Basically,
So
just
that
mean
more.
that you have too much of that quality in your system.
Exactly.
Too much. Yeah.
And so many guys long for that warrior side to balance it out. And this is the key. For example, in my attempt to become more masculine or integrated, I switched from the lover to the warrior, and I was all about deadline, structure, individuality, goals. I say deadlines? Yeah, I did say deadlines. And I lost touch over time with that sensitive side that was good at feeling energy vibrations from crystals and from having mystical experiences in nature. And so in that moving away, I also repressed it. I started to actually become rigid in my warrior, in my attempt to be more masculine, and in effect it made me brittle. It's not necessarily weakness, but it's being brittle. I could be broken swiftly because that power isn't really fully owned, fully embodied. And that process of switching back and forth, that will continue until, well, actually you'll notice that you'll get more to the center towards where they meet over time. And that is what Reclaim Your Inner Throne is all about, to help you integrate the other aspect more so you can grow more towards wholeness. And that's it.
Yeah, the overall model that we use is, let me just paint it out in a very rough way for you, is that you have parts of you that you don't see, parts of you that may be related to power, to sexuality, to vulnerability, to grief. And I think that you've had some level of connection with them over these past 5 days here. And those parts are places where you have trapped life force. So there's a lot of life force that is repressed out of your main operating, system, your body mind. It's just not available to you because it's repressed. And so the magician archetype is the introspective, going down into the unconscious, bringing the light like Gandalf down into the minds of Moria. And you find those exiles and you gradually start to tease them like, come back. You're welcome now. I see you. You don't need to be afraid. And then you realize that in those exiled parts are themes that relate largely to power and vulnerability. So you could say then that you actually have to pick up the warrior and the lover from the underworld. And then you bring those parts in sort of a vertical movement from the underworld to the upper world. And you could imagine symbolically having an audience with the Sun King, the divine principle on earth, where the king says, welcome home power, welcome home grief. Where have you been all of these years? We've been missing you. And so just here. So just imagine an inner king saying to you right now, dear man, dear boy, dear man, your power is welcome. Where has it been all of this time? We have missed it. It's so welcome. You don't even believe how much we want to see your power. It's a part of you and we love it. Imagine yourself being in some kind of audience with the archetypal king and it just says, it's so welcome. And when you start to have that as an internalized imprint, that there isn't anything that lives inside of you truly that isn't welcome. See, it becomes ugly when it's not welcomed. When it's actually welcomed, it purifies and it becomes a gift. It becomes clean. It becomes serving. But as long as you say no, you repress it, you don't appreciate this side of you, it goes rotten and it can start acting out. Because every part of us that we don't embrace, consider that it's like its own autonomous life form that will say, well, if you're going to reject me, I'm going to fucking kick up a storm. I'm going to act out. I'm going to defend my life. I'm going to defend my right to exist. And so the more that you try to repress your power, the more there's going to be a part of you that in the right or the wrong moment is going to explode and really, really hurt a lot of people around you. And the more that happens, the more you're afraid of that happening the next time. So you start repressing it even more, and it gets worse and then worse and then worse. So we need to tease it out gradually. And that's what we do in Reclaiming the Throne. So that you don't need to be afraid of your power anymore. You don't need to be afraid of your raw, beautiful heart. There's an imprint now of how we can bring it into the world. And because of that, you become safe. You don't anymore walk around with the sense that when you meet people, there are these parts that you have to repress, because if they come out, then these people are going to freak out, and then you're going to kick up a storm and you're going to lose your friends and, all of this stuff. If this is familiar, let me know in the comments.
Put it down there, guys. Yeah, it's so insane, man, that our unconscious parts become like a figure, a self-governing figure in our psyche, which is of course conscious and unconscious. And what happens is that they want to be seen, and so they'll try everything in their power for you to just recognize it, or them. Yeah, and so all they want is for you to just turn around and look them in the eye and say, hey, I see what you're doing, and what is it you really want? And then initially they'll respond, and this is what you can do. You can actually have a conversation with them. It's called active imagination. It's a Jungian technique. And they'll first respond, I'm gonna create a ruckus because you fucking repressed me, you bastard. What's life without me? And then when you continue that conversation, they're like, actually, I just want to have some fun too. I want to get out there and play as well. I want some freedom too. Life's kind of sucks here. And then you can feel that your repressed side has a very wholesome desire in it, which is to just be re-embraced, to have some air, to get out to play a little bit, because that repressed life force, it's just, you don't want to play, you don't feel vibrant and colorful anymore. You're not going to enjoy as much. Life becomes a grind. And put it in the comments, guys, if you actually find this, if this resonates, and if this resonates and you recognize these patterns. Yeah, these conversations, they are with your repressed aspects. So it could be with your warrior who has been living in a cage for a very long time. It could be with your spirituality. It could be with your vulnerability, with your grief. And you will find that you can have a relationship with that part. And it will strengthen when you have a conversation with them, when you get to know them. And that awareness that they are there, it will increase your welcoming energy. I know you there. I see you there. I know that you're inside of me, and I want you with me. And the more you practice that, the more peace you're going to feel in your heart. I promise that.
See, this is what it means to embody the king, is that you embrace all of the parts that live inside of you, and then you develop the harmony and the peace that you're talking about. And when the world starts looking very fragmented and chaotic, it is because the king archetype has been completely corrupted. And so we live in that world right now. And that is why I care about sovereignty, because the principle of sovereignty has been corrupted and we need to take it back. It's gone so far that people are actually starting to say that sovereignty is evil, that you need to be like a sheep in order to be a decent human being. That is a lie. Yeah. It's a big fat lie. Okay. So let's move on.
To be accepted, yeah. To be part of the group, to be accepted. And that's the narrative, guys. The narrative is well, if you step out of line, I'm gonna fucking gaslight you and make sure that your environment sees you as evil, as wicked, and represses you and puts you aside. So you better make sure that you're part of that line. And that's not the world we want to paint. That's not the more beautiful heart or no heart, the more beautiful world our heart knows is possible. That one is about wholeness, collaboration. It's about merging polarities. It's about meeting the feminine from the masculine in an empowered, wholehearted stewarding way. And that's the world where our children will thrive. And that's the one world that I want to believe in, and that I want you guys to believe in as well.
Good. Okay, man. And we're going to speak a little bit about mentorship. Do you want to tell your story? And I think you have sort of alluded to it, but
I've alluded to it. Maybe I didn't actually. Maybe I scrapped it. I scrapped my story.
Oh yeah,
guys. Some of you may have heard Ivan's podcast episode about how I became a man. Some of you have maybe seen another. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. That's Charles Eisenstein. Some of you have seen maybe other content, but the core of it is that I was a directionless boy up until 26, until I finally met a man named Carl Otto, who was part of Reclaim. And through him, through all these, well, serendipitous, happy accidents, I got connected to Reclaim Your Throne. And when I had my initiation then and there, because of that fire that woke in me, I knew when I heard about Reclaiming Your Throne, and I did the guided meditation about the throne room, and I felt, holy shit, this power is in me. I got this in my heart, and it's possible. It's not an external part of me, it's actually living inside of me. I knew then that is what I want to invest in. I knew that was for me. And I took it over a driver's license, guys. I was like, well, I can have a driver's license, but I won't be sovereign. Or I get sovereign and then I get my life in order, and then I get my driver's license, and then everything sorts itself out because I'm empowered. And I went through that process, and I had Ivan there and Carl Otto to just reflect back my bullshit. And there turned out to be a lot of bullshit in me, a lot of narratives, a lot of disempowerment, a lot of warrior repression. And over those months, that started to shift.
Grandiosity.
Grandiosity, yeah. I mean, grandiosity. I lived on grandiosity. What was I without it? I was so afraid that I was so small and so meaningless that I started to compensate for it by trying to be larger or believing to be larger than I was. And grandiosity is a term when actually archetypal power can take you over, and you become larger than life, larger than yourself.
It's when you're so
right now.
It's when you're so disempowered that you think you're God.
That can happen.
In the extreme.
Yeah, for sure.
In the extreme.
That is in short what can happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. And it's really the guidance and support from other men that made me trust my own masculine identity more. I was very feminized, guys. I had long hair. I was kind of skinny. I didn't work out. I was a pleaser. I was very fluid and sensitive, and I had great gifts. I was very attuned, but I didn't have my life in order, and I didn't have a good relationship with my father. Really, that was still troubling. And through that work, I started to land more of that masculine core. It's like the work with the men around me, with the elder guys who I could trust and who I could ask for guidance. It's as if their reflections to me made my masculine core solidify, as if that was hazy and really fluid. And with that feedback and reflection, the honest feedback, like, I see you grandiose, I don't feel you, I don't trust you, that sort of stuff, I started to become more aligned and more solid on the inside. Yeah, that's where it all started for me, when I, because of my passion for the work, was invited to become an apprentice to Ivan. Really, that's been 3 years now.
Yeah. Here's something interesting that I observe and that I've also lived, is that it's so easy for young men these days to feel kind of stubborn about wanting to take the walk to greatness on our own. It's almost as if we received help. It didn't really matter. I need to reinvent the wheel on some level, the hero's journey, the conquest of my challenges, and just become the master of my destiny, the captain of my ship, on my own. Like, what a compelling idea, like lonesome cowboy, over the prairie. And we've been indoctrinated into these images in our culture for a long time, and it is really quite debilitating. And it's also something that makes me sad to see how I've invited a couple of men with great potential to be mentees of mine, but they were either too proud or they were too unfocused to realize that they actually had a great opportunity in front of them. And so we see again and again that the men that need mentorship, they don't actually understand fully that they do. And so they wander the wastelands of trying to do it on their own for like a decade, and then maybe finally they wake up. And they could have had this massive transformation in 1 or 2 or 3 years if they just humbled themselves enough. And I walked that path as well. I was stubborn, I was prideful, and I was boastful and all of these things. But eventually I also had to kneel, and my chronic fatigue was a big part of this. And so there is really no way to become powerful in your life if you're in this internal compensatory, posturing narcissism, really. And narcissism is a big problem these days because we have so little intrinsic sense of worthiness that we need to compensate with bullshit. And so we become these inflated balloons of nothingness that huff and puff as if we are fucking brilliant, but we have nothing to show. So what's going on? Well, it's that our culture isn't really helping us actually take the right steps as men. And so so that is just a great privilege for me, Ruben, to see like 3 years after you coming across the threshold and starting the journey. Here you are rocking it, and you see men are inspired, and they're willing to follow you as a leader because you've done the work. You've been willing to apprentice yourself to someone. And if you're not willing to do that, you're also not going to be great. And that's okay. If you don't want to be great, then just try and do it on your own. I don't give a shit, But if you actually want to do...
I do give a shit.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's fine. Yeah. I don't, because I've given so many shits that I'm tired. Now I want to focus on the people who give a shit. So
I want you to give a shit. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I want you to believe in that vision of that world that your heart knows is possible, right? I want you to believe that's possible and a better life for you awaits, so that you can trust that the work is actually worth it to do it, and then that you can lean into that. And that means wanting to be great and serve the world. It's not about being awesome yourself and not doing anything about it. It's about becoming great to protect and serve and steward the future towards a better place. And I do care about that.
Yeah. So we're going to give you an opportunity to join us for Reclaiming Your Throne at the end of this. And if you've had your fire flame stoked and your heart opened, then I hope you will choose to join us. But before that, we will invite Joris on, and I hope that you're still around, Joris. You should have received the link. Some of you have been hanging out with Joris in the coaching calls with Ruben over the last couple of days. Joris actually, much against his internal pre-existing worldview, chose to do this Reclaiming a Throne experience back in September of last year. And we've seen a man who's changed quite a lot since then. And right now I have the great pleasure of working with him directly. So let's see. I've sent the link to you in your email, Joris.
Let's see if he joins. I actually have, don't see a link yet. Where did you share? It's email, so it will be there in maybe 30 seconds, Joris. It has some delay. Yeah, it will be there.
No, I sent it actually at the top. I sent it at the top of the hour to you, Joris. So if you go there, you should see it. I see that you haven't read the email. Just open your Gmail, Joris, and it'll be right there. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you in a moment and to hear a little bit about this. Let me know, guys. Is this something that is compelling to you? Do you want more of this in your life? Do you want to not only experience it for 5 days, but actually stabilize it as a way of life? Let's have some fire in the chat again. I'd love to see that. Love
this
to
is
feel
all
your
online,
enthusiasm.
guys. It's all online. Maybe you didn't catch on to that, but Reclaiming the Throne is an all-online men's initiation that's been running for 6 years now. It was always online. Yeah,
we basically
we can find some bears, Ramon. Don't worry.
We pioneered a new way of doing initiations for men. I found, and I'm gonna own that, and we've been doing it together ever since. Hello, my friend.
Well, I hopped on.
Hi.
Hey, there we go. Let's see, where are you?
I wasn't checking my mail, so sorry.
Oh, there we go. Hey, man, welcome to the call. How are you feeling?
Wow. I'm scared shitless.
Awesome.
I just realized half an hour ago that sharing widely means outside of the container as well. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. I'm here.
Connect about that? That's a surprise to you?
It was a surprise an hour ago, but that's okay.
Aha, good. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good to have you here, man.
Good to have you. Yeah, I think I wanted you to be here, Joris, because you've been on a hell of a journey that a lot of the men on this particular challenge can resonate with. Mm-hmm. Can I speak freely?
Yes, you can.
You came to Reclaim in September, RYIT in September, very disembodied, completely out of touch with your power, and seemingly castrated.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah. Where are you now?
Right now, I feel a lot. So that probably means I'm embodied. At least a lot more than I was in September. And what I realized yesterday in the coaching call with Ruben is that I am playful again. I'm playful. I feel playful again. And I really, really, really lost that.
That's life force.
Yeah.
That's life force.
Yeah, and that feels great.
And the beauty is that now you're allowing yourself to be nervous rather than to completely get like completely blocked up in your head.
Yeah, that is the difference, and that is a very, very big difference. Yeah, to feel it, to be aware that I feel it, to allow it, and then just to take it from there.
I really enjoy having you here, Joris, and you've literally been on the personal development path for like 6 months. You hadn't done anything before that, as far as I know.
No, and that was actually, for me, Reclaim was like the beginning of something, like the first discovery of, hey, I have a body and I can do something with it instead of just detaching from it and only using it to get my head from point A to B is what I was doing. That was actually, for me, Reclaim was a kind of awakening to what's possible when I'm in my body. And then I
remember the story, actually. Do you want to continue? Or do you want me to share the story? Yeah, we were in the middle of the initiation. I think it was October or something. And you shared that your partner woke up or the alarm went, and that suddenly you became aware of all this energy in your body, and you smelled her hair, and it was just really nourishing. And you just lay there, you told me and us, enjoying that, yeah, without acting on any arousal, but just experiencing that in the moment, right? Do you want to share a little bit about how that was?
That was at first very strange because I never experienced anything like that. But just, the feeling of energy through my body, that was amazing. And it felt like just something to enjoy and be with. So yeah, I just lay there for more than an hour, I think, feeling energy through my whole body. That was quite amazing. I almost forgot.
I was so happy for you after that experience.
Yeah. And that was actually right after a quite intense coaching call with you, Ruben.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the first one where you worked a bit with me in the group on the tension I was feeling in my body. And then I started shaking even on the call.
Oh, that was a breakthrough, yeah?
That was that weekend, yeah.
See, this is good. This is good. Like, you're breathing it in.
You froze there, Ivan.
Yeah, it's just fucked up, bad internet here. But I'm back.
You're back. Yeah.
So you're breathing it in. Like, you're actually expanding your capacity to be with life force. Your whole nervous system is recalibrating day by day, week by week, month by month. And I've seen it happen. And you felt it happen.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped after Reclaim. I keep doing the work. And
yes, you do.
Yeah, it's still expanding.
Yes, you
do.
Every
time I see something where you start playing or you have some sort of adventure, it's just like, it feels like the boy becomes alive and the fresh wind is just surging through your body. And I just resonate and enjoy in all these little enjoyments that you have.
Yeah,
it is wonderful.
And it was nice to hear.
It's starting to drop more and more as well. Because during Reclaim, I had these episodes of feeling playfulness. But now it's really starting to anchor, and I start to not give a shit about others looking at me while I'm in my playful mode. And that's helping a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you've done a lot now. You've done Reclaiming the Throne. You're a member of the Forge. You're working one-on-one with me, and so you're going all in, and it's a real pleasure. So you were in a coaching call with Ruben, I believe, yesterday, and I think you were the full trust man. So it sounds like something is beautiful. Okay,
guys, just in case you don't know what we're talking about, we did a breathing exercise to get embodied, and then we did a trust exercise. Every man got 1 minute to share what he wants in life. And all the other men would then rate him from 1 till 5 on how much they trusted what he said, how much they felt his words and intention in their body. And Joris got the perfect 5 there. So for me, that was just a confirmation of the progress that you've made, Joris. Yeah.
And for me as well, because I actually wasn't prepared. I didn't do the work that day of journaling on what I wanted. And you sprung it on me. And that made it come from a really spontaneous place. And that's what I felt.
And I believe that's the magic that you start embodying it, and you don't need to prep with the mind. You can just
Exactly.
let it come up.
It becomes natural.
Yeah.
So do you want some of these men who have been part of this challenge to join the Brotherhood, Joris?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah. I feel it has changed me. If you let it, it will change you. So
I actually have before and after pictures of you, and in the first one you look really stuck up, and in the last in the last one you just smile, this soft and gentle presence. Was one of my proud moments after the last round of Reclaim when I saw that comparison.
I remember you sending the picture, and I remember your response. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we've done something fun. So Reclaim Unithrone, 15 weeks. It's probably going to be the most intense training that you've ever done. And if your results are typical, it's going to completely alter your life in a very good way. Though, be warned that you're going to get confronted and you're going to change. And so the life that you have now, the parts of it that aren't working are going to be exposed. And if you want that to happen, then Reclaiming the Throne is for you. But if you don't want to be found out, then this really isn't for you. It really isn't for you, because there isn't a single lie that will survive an encounter with the Reclaiming the Throne
Exactly.
container. It will
This is
burn
only
away.
for the guys who want to stop lying, who want to live an uncompromising life of truth, dignity, worthiness, and service. That's it.
So the cool thing that we've done, well, first of all, I want you, those of you men who are Reclaiming the Throne alumni and be part of this challenge and maybe have lost a little bit touch with the fire that you connected with initially when you did this, I think you should really consider joining the Forge, because it's just a wonderful container to keep growing this, and it's better than ever now. But right now, I'm speaking to the man who hasn't ever done Reclaiming the Throne, because you have an opportunity now. And we've created on the membership pages for the 5 days to personal power, where you have been doing the conversation with the creature and the child, you can log on there, and now you can actually click on a button to get a preview of Reclaiming the Throne. And we've never done it like this before, but it's quite fun, and I might even do that. Let's see. I'm gonna try and do that.
Which is, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to show how that is done. Can you see this?
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
Beautiful. So now this button is available for you.
Yep, and this is the starting point of our journey. Mm-hmm.
And so it's as you may understand from this image, is that this is a narrative training. You literally go on a quest that feels mythological, a bit Tolkien-esque. And every week you will be introduced to a narrative. You will receive various tasks. I encourage you to go in here after this call and watch this video and just familiarize yourself a little bit with how we do things. And then finally, if you feel inspired to go a bit deeper to see what it's been doing for other men, then you can also look at this. So have a look at this to get a sense of it. But what I want you to know at this point is, well, Ruben, you and I, we had a conversation yesterday and today. We were talking about whether we were going to give a discount to these men to get them to move their asses quickly, because that typically drives a man to actually act. And I said to you, hey, we have given these men so much fucking value. And on top of that, we've actually halved the price of Reclaiming the Throne since round 12. And so are we going to give them a discount on top of that? And well, I actually resisted, but you've been quite insistent because you think it will help some of these men take the step that they otherwise wouldn't. And so what did we decide to do?
Yeah. So regular price right now for Reclaiming Your Throne, you can get 15 weeks all in, work together with me and the team. Ivan's not going to be part of the team, part of me and my team who I'll be running it with. You'll be having that initiation for 1,479 instead of the 3K that it was at. Actually, guys half a year ago paid 3K. And I want to offer you right now a discount that runs for 24 hours after this call ends to get your ass moving and for you to just not have any arguments or excuses anymore. I want to give it to you for $12.49. Yeah, $12.49. And that's just for 24 hours and then you're done. If you already want to join, you get this little boost. If you're still unsure, let this be a kick up the ass. And after 24 hours, it'll be the regular price again. Yeah, no bullshit. You know, it's a great price. I paid more on my round when I was in. It's up to you. I'd be happy to journey with you if you feel the call to wholeness. Yeah, I'll be there.
And because we want it to be easy for you, we also have 3-month payment plans and 6-month payment plans. So that means that you essentially can do this for about $200, a little over $200 per month. And so, you know, if this is your time, you know what to do. I'm not going to oversell this to you because you know what the value is by now. And if this is what you need in your life at this point, be warned, knowing full well that is going to change you and your life. Because one of the things that so many people do, or the mistake that so many men do, or so many people do when they enter the world of self-development, is that they're looking for incremental improvements in their life, and thinking that someday they're going to have some massively improved life without actually at any point being willing to sacrifice their current life. You cannot have the life that you deserve to live while staying attached to the current life that you're currently living. It's just not possible. And if you're the incremental little fidgeting with little techniques and to-do lists and shit like that, then this isn't the training for you. This is the training for a man who's ready for a radical breakthrough. That the very structure of your identity recalibrates into a foundation that can bring a whole new man into the world. That's exactly a tall order for a man.
Yeah, you're breaking up there for a sec. Yeah, you're back. Yeah. Yeah, I can share a little bit about that restructuring, guys, because in our contemporary culture, we don't have, I see we're a bit over time, let's wrap it up soon. In our culture, we don't have this ritual space as much as we used to before. There's no sacred space for us to just let go of our ego structure and come back whole. And that is what initiation and rites of passage are all about. It is about a space that is held by ritual elders who are familiar with working the sacred space, for you to just drop in and surrender the being that you thought you were, for you to die, to have an actual ego, to have your old self die and to be restructured on the way out. Joris, you probably recognize that you had to let go of your old self, in order to become this new version of you. Yeah,
absolutely. There was a lot to let go.
Yeah.
So let's just be clear and summarize this. First of all, it's 1 hour too late to say first of all, but I'm going to just fucking congratulate you for doing this work, man. It's been a beautiful experience for me. I actually ended up being more involved in the challenge than I expected to, just because I was feeling it. I was really excited and I was leaning in more than I intended to. So thank you for giving me the honor and the treat, and thank you, Ruben, for stepping up like you've never done before, and thank you, men, especially those of you who leaned in all the way. Thank you so much for doing the work. This is the kind of work that makes the world better, and is the kind of work that makes your life better. And sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it's blissful, and you know what? It doesn't fucking matter, because you are committed to becoming all of the man that you can be. And sometimes it hurts and sometimes it doesn't. That's just the way of things. And so if you want to be part of this now, and I hope you do, then use the discount code personal power. Just personal power. It's in capitals, but actually I don't think it matters. So
you'll find out.
Personal power is the discount code, and you can use that from the page that is in your panel, or you can go straight to innerthrone.com/initiation. But the point is that you've done this challenge, and if you've leaned in thoroughly, and if you're very clear that you've done the work, and we feel similarly, you are pre-approved. You don't need to apply. We have never done Reclaiming the Throne without requiring applications, but you're pre-approved. You can register right now. And
you're breaking up, unfortunately, on the climax.
And am I back? Am I back?
And
okay. And not only will you get the discount that is connected to this personal power discount code, I have decided to do something that
you're breaking up again.
This Wi-Fi is just a nightmare, man. It's just crazy. What I'm going to
something that
I didn't expect, and that is I will host at the same time tomorrow evening. For those of you who move now, I will host a 2-hour transformational shamanic ritual that is going to have a dramatic impact on you as you set out on this journey. So you join within the next 24 hours, you get the discount code, and you get a 2-hour ritual with me tomorrow. Exactly. Which is going to put you face to face with many of the things that you fear and be able to transform them. Joris knows what this is because it did it last Tuesday. And if you want, you can join us again tomorrow, Joris. So
that's right. That's right, guys. Thank you so much for joining this challenge. It's been a fucking honor to see you crack open and do the work with me. I'm fucking proud of where you've grown and to see your processes. And I'm just hopeful to see a world rise with the men like you stepping into their power and taking ownership of their experience so we can create together the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible.
So, hope to see you inside of Reclaiming the Throne, or actually I won't. I will just be creating videos.
Yeah.
It would be a pleasure to have you. Have a great Easter, and if you have any questions, we'll just put a thread up right now after this, and you can ask any questions there. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Where are we gonna put the link to register? Yeah, because that's gonna be probably an important one.
Well, it is when they log in, it's there, right? But we can
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you know where to find it, guys. See you on the inside. I hope you make a blast of your life, and thank you for the work you've done with me and us.
And you're all welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
See you soon.